It's showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
Happy Saturday, everybody. I'm here with Mandy and Tommy, two of my favorite people in the world. My name is JJ, and I'm so happy you guys are here. Tommy, I want to tell you, first of all, I did this 2 weeks ago with Mandy, and it was super, super fun. But I opened, this is special for you, I opened with a line from the De La Soul song, a roller skating jam called Saturday, and it was terrible. Only because nobody got it, first of all.
Did anyone know? And
I blew through it. Like, because it was literally my intro, you know.
Sure.
Andy's got the little, like, Irish brogue thing and everything.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to do this thing that I like about Saturday. And it was just, you know, it was like a quick line, and I just went through it. And then I listened to it, and I wasn't happy with it. But I probably should have saved it for this episode because you might have known what I was talking about.
I know that song.
It's a great song.
Saturday, it's a Saturday. Saturday,
right.
It's, yeah.
But instead, you opted for this as your opening?
Well, it's like it's a true confessions, right? It's like here I am. This is what I've done wrong, and I wish you would have been here to help me through it last time, Tommy. But you know, whatever.
Got it. Can we re-record that episode instead of doing this episode?
Maybe. I would like to. Can I do a do-over? That sounds great. This is our Mulligan episode of Satman, everyone. No, it's great, and happy to be here. It looks like we have a ton of news to start off. So much so that, you know, everyone from the Next Reel Omniverse was dropping news articles for us to talk about, and I actually didn't add any because there was so much going on. There's been a lot of upvoting and all this stuff. The first one that both of you guys said you wanted to talk about a little bit is this details about Pixar's new movie. What interests you guys about that?
I like Pixar, but I don't know anything about it because I don't read the articles ahead of time. I want someone to present them to me.
Hey!
I'm the audience surrogate.
It's a coming-of-age tale set in the Italian Riviera.
Okay.
Who reads the articles?
Good work.
See, now, and remember, Mandy, 2 weeks ago, I was like, you know, sometimes I don't think people do all the links. Remember when I said that? And then there was all this stuff? Well, now we have evidence. Now we know.
No, I was hammered last time, JJ.
And not this time? I don't know what's different.
We're going to try it this way.
Great. So wait, coming of age story, Italian Riviera. What's the story? It says it's called Luca?
Luca.
Okay.
It was a short article.
Right.
But it's a coming of age story in the Italian Riviera. It's supposed to be beautiful and heartwarming and
directed
is this the
by
one where he's secretly a sea monster, or am I getting two things confused?
That is totally right. And I know there is a lot of sea monster news out there right now, so I totally get where you would be confused by that. But no, this is directed by, and I don't know this person, but Enrico Casarosa?
Oh, Ricky.
No. But he grew up in the Italian Riviera, he says in the article, which I think is actually kind of cool. And, you know, Pixar. So, I mean, Tommy, you say you like Pixar. What's the thing that gets you excited about Pixar movies coming out?
I love crying at a children's movie. Like, for instance, I have only watched like the first 7 minutes of Up. It's hysterical. I've only watched the Bing Bong sequence in Inside Out.
Inside Out.
That's not true.
That's true. We saw that together.
Can I insert?
Yes,
of course.
So Tommy said, my son was like 4 when Inside Out came out, and Tommy said, if you guys are going to go see it, I'd love to see it. So we all go. My son lost his mind with tears. He was sobbing, and at one point he screamed out, "It's just too sad."
Your son said that?
Yes.
Oh, that's adorable.
It was amazing.
It is sad, but that's the point. I mean, what a great takeaway from that movie about how the importance of sadness and moving forward and all that stuff. So what is this going to be? Is this going to be the importance of embracing like myth and things that are not real under the water?
The importance of sea monsters?
Yeah.
I don't really have a sense of it, and
I don't either.
We are past the Pixar phase in my house, so I'm not like
sad?
a Pixar.
What phase are you on now?
Like good comedies and
50 Shades of Grey.
We watched Hidden Figures as a family.
I've seen that too.
Shades.
Yep. Showed that one as well. Cool.
But
I just showed my kids The Martian, which is along the sort of Hidden Figures.
Oh, the
vein.
Matt Damon Martian.
Yeah, there's a lot of language in it, which my kids thought was hilarious at 8 and 10.
Right.
But in general, as like kind of getting into the idea about being interested in space stuff. It was kind of fun for them to look at. And generally
Apollo
the
13.
science in The Martian is pretty accurate, is from what I've heard. So I got to kind of give that to him. Have you done Apollo 13?
Yes.
Really?
Do it.
That's
Yeah.
great. Okay.
Casey loved it. Yeah.
What a cool idea. I definitely want to do that.
Okay.
Okay. So
Pixar. Not so excited, but I'm sure it'll be moving and lovely and Pixarian.
So now,
Now I have to find another family to see it with.
Right. It's
weird?
just too sad. So my impression about animated films, and maybe you guys have a better sense of this, is that they usually take a long time to make, right? Mm-hmm. That an animated film can be in production for 4 years or so. Is that accurate or no? So
Yes.
having this announcement with the director just attached, what are we learning about when we might actually see Luca, not Luna, Luca? It's
I
a
would
long
imagine
ways
that
off,
for a
right?
while.
It's a long, because there's another Pixar movie ahead of it.
Are you talking about Soul?
Yes, I am.
So
Yes.
Soul's done, though. Soul was supposed to come
Yeah.
out this summer,
Soul's
and it
already
was
out,
delayed. So that's why
It's not out, is it?
they held
Well,
it. They held it because
held
of the
it, right.
virus.
It's
So
in the can.
my point is that this showing up in Variety, in particular, and they're just talking about attaching the director, it might be a long time before we see this movie. Is my point.
I would think you're right.
Okay.
It's saying it's expected to open on the big screen on June 18th, 2021.
That's crazy.
That
talk,
goes against everything
isn't
that
it?
we're saying.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, the whole entertainment industry is being shoved in different directions with what's going on here. So
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Dishonor on your whole family. Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow.
Well, this is me jumping ahead to the bottom, but this is the story that I wanted to talk about, which is the whole delay and now announcement that Mulan is going to come out. The live action Mulan is going to come out video on demand on Disney Plus. And
really?
it's
Okay.
controversial. It was supposed to come out in March, supposed to come out the third week in March.
Isn't there a big boycott going on?
I don't know about that. What is that?
There's
that
a
you
big
hear?
boycott going on. Something about whitewashing, something about... Oh, no, it's protesting against the Chinese government.
Interesting. I hadn't heard that.
I should, instead of just yelling things out, I should look up things. Keep talking about what you want to talk about. and
Well,
I'll
yeah.
get the
So
real
the
stuff.
interesting thing is because a lot of people have been criticizing the whole video on demand thing, and the whole, especially with Trolls World Tour, that was kind of the initial one that came out and it made a bucket load of money and all this stuff. Mulan is coming out in an interesting format. They're actually releasing it. It's going to be more expensive. It's going to be $29.99 for that initial thing, which is still cheaper
What?
than taking a family to the theater.
Yeah, if you take your family of 4 to the movies, you're spending twice that.
Which so I get that, and they're still going to make a whole bunch of
point.
money back. But the key thing too is that it's going to what I've heard is that it's going to be a setup like a digital locker. So you're actually going to, if you pay the $30, you're going to get access to it. It's not like a rental like you had with Trolls World Tour, where you had it for what it was 30 days or something like this. This, you basically, with your Disney Plus subscription, you're going to unlock it, and then it will always be available to you as long as you have your subscription.
All right.
Which I just think that that creative models like that is kind of like what we need right now.
I think it's fair, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to do
And
it.
kids watch Disney movies over and over and over and over.
Totally.
So that's fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I there's a lot of criticism about Disney. When I think about the live action ones that I've seen, I just watched Aladdin recently, which I just thought was really strange because it was very different than the original. I saw the Jungle Book, which a lot of people liked the Jungle Book one, but I found it to be kind of scary in live action.
Yeah, I would think so.
I
That's
missed a lot
Foster's
of
favorite film.
the live action Jungle Book.
Yeah, in that's the only film that he hasn't fallen asleep during. He was rapt, just staring at the screen. So he was obviously hearing something. Or
Yeah.
I was actually, like, I also had made bacon or something, but he was just like staring at the screen the whole time. And then he looked over at me and he was like, what a twist. So it's pretty good.
Well, I think all of Disney's movies are incredible, and I think every decision they make is perfect. They're always listening. It's Disney. Always
Is
watching.
it's Disney that's always watching? I thought it was Amazon.
Well,
In my
I
house,
think they're
it's
both
Amazon.
the same.
right.
I literally
aren't they?
have a listening device in every room of my house. that's
Alexa,
next to
buy
me.
all the pants. Did it work? Oh, you're on
Yeah,
earphones. Darn it.
That's just Tommy planting those all over your house. Don't worry about it.
Right, exactly. That's not a surprise, but yeah. So I think I think it's great. I actually do want to see it. I don't. I didn't see Beauty and the Beast. I'm trying to think of the other ones. Have you guys seen these live action movies?
Yeah. Beauty and the Beast was.
I thought Beauty and the Beast was really nice.
Great.
Yeah.
Aladdin was a mixed bag, but
Yeah. Well, I just thought that
I'm
the
picky.
changes with the ending and stuff, it wasn't. And I mean, the original is so legendary. So
What are the changes in the ending? Spoiler alert. Maybe we shouldn't talk about it because spoiler alert.
the big? Well, no, I think you can talk about it. It's been out for a while. The big thing is that the genie has a love interest.
What?
Will Smith as the genie becomes connected with, isn't it
The
with
monkey?
Jasmine's? No.
Oh.
With Jasmine's like attendant, isn't it?
Lady in Waiting. Yeah, and he gets freed, and it's a happy ending.
Oh, that's
and-
fun. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's just it adds an element that definitely wasn't present in the cartoon. I guess is my
Right.
point.
Why do you hate love, JJ? Let's talk about it.
I'm just confused by it. I don't know that I hate it. It's just the other. That's all.
Fair enough.
I have a super quick update about the boycott that I talked about. One of the reasons is
Yeah.
because its star, I'm going to get this all wrong, Lou Yifei. I guess I don't get it wrong if I spell it. It has expressed support for the Hong Kong police on social media when all of the protests were happening. And that's maybe not the most progressive side to be on right now during all
So
the
I have to admit that news story confuses me. I haven't done enough research on the fights between China and Hong Kong. And it always confuses me when someone sides with one side or the other, and then there's a huge backlash from either the Chinese government in the case of some of the basketball stuff, or if there's backlash from a lot of the the capitalist free market side of things. Like I'm a little confused by it, so I don't necessarily understand why anyone would protest Mulan being released in this sort of vein.
Well, when they make a movie about all of this, we'll discuss it.
That sounds good.
You mean
Right?
you mean
That's
about
appropriate.
this podcast right now?
No,
When they make that movie, that'll be thrilling.
about that particular conflict. Yeah.
About the conflict, yeah.
Yes.
Tom, to move on to another story. Tom, I saw you upvoted a story about Star Wars.
I uploaded
I was shocked.
it.
I
Here's
was
why.
too. That's
Shocked.
why
I didn't even look at it.
I said that
funny.
with a question mark at
Can
the
I
end of
tell
it.
you why I uploaded it?
Please.
It has an enormous amount of words with like no information.
There's zero information.
No,
That-
the untitled Star Wars movie that was going to be on December 16th. Yeah, try next year. And then the other untitled one is going to be like even later. And then there's another one. Yikes, so much later. And there's nothing in this. It says,
No.
it was going to be written by the Game of Thrones guys, but they dropped out. And there was this other guy. He dropped out. So there's just nothing. This is just taking up internet space. There is nothing. All it's saying is all movies are being pushed to the end. I should be in charge of Collider. Yeah.
So you upvoted a story because of how ridiculous the story was?
Well, because the happy ending is all Star Wars movies aren't going to come out for a while. I'm personally that is a happy ending for me. Hooray!
Wow.
I don't have to worry about those jokers coming back and hyperspacing and pew pewing. So that's just me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I did notice that there was no, no proper
there's
nouns
no
or
there.
anything that could
Yeah.
help us in that particular story. But that's interesting. I don't know what to say about it. I think we coming off the Disney Plus story to this story is a point that they can make all the content they want over there, and they can wait. They can hold things
Right.
forever for theatrical releases now. Disney has
Yep.
is
They own us, and we love them.
Oh God, she's still just looking around. You
Should we be-
podcast with a tinfoil hat and a tinfoil microphone cover.
Yeah.
Yeah,
very,
exactly.
very conspiracy. Yeah.
Well, my
Yep.
Snowden cover for my camera has to be
Yep. Love it.
reapplied all the time. Yeah.
Love it.
Funny. Okay, and then Mandy, there's another one here from you about is this Adam McKay and Amy Adams doing a Netflix series about Walmart?
Yes, not from me, but I did
You
upvote
upvoted it. Great. Oh, it's from Tommy. So both you guys are in it. That's great.
Yeah. Oh,
Let's hear about it.
Well, it's Tommy's article. You want to tell
Come on,
us?
Tom.
what I was interested in is, McKay has taken down real life people with things like Vice. He's really changed from being the crazy, wacky, Will Ferrell to also injecting real life biopics, taking on governments, taking on big business. So the idea of doing a Netflix series about Walmart seemed interesting. And then I was extra excited about it is I was afraid maybe they were going to do a version of The Founder, which kind of made Ray Kroc of McDonald's seem like such a visionary and a hero. And actually, like, part of the story that they did acknowledge but buried a little bit is he just stole everything. And the two people that came up with the entire reason the McDonald's is McDonald's didn't get any part of it, except that their name is still on the restaurant. They, instead of telling hooray with Walmart, what an American success story, they're talking about 3 different people that are involved in fighting Walmart. In different ways, and how their stories I think it's a mix of people on the Walmart side, but also one of the main leads is going to be someone that was finally sort of standing up against Walmart for how poorly they treat people, their employees, and stuff.
Amy Adams is set to star,
Love
and
Amy Adams.
she can do no wrong.
Right.
You love it. She's the opposite of Ron Livingston to you, right, Mandy?
She is the opposite of Ron Livingston.
I just learned this week that Mandy cannot hate Ron Livingston more, and that's kind of like hating skim milk. Like Ron Livingston, he's not like a divisive person.
I hate white bread.
I don't
Fair
have
enough.
feelings about Ron Livingston, but I don't particularly like skim milk, so maybe that means something.
stand
So
corrected.
we all agree he's the worst.
I do love Amy Adams, though, and especially her Chanhassen Dinner Theater roots outside of Minneapolis, Minnesota. My big Amy Adams thing always is to say, if you saw Man of Steel, I'm so angry at what they did to her in Man of Steel and the way that they depicted her as Lois. It was really frustrating to me. Because
I did see it, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't shoot her well. There was such a focus
With the camera.
there was such a focus on the supers that I feel like they left Amy behind, and that they made her out to be this sub character. And I
Got it.
Don't put Amy in a corner is all I want to say.
No,
because
thank
she's
you.
fantastic,
No,
and
and she
love
can't
Thank
go
you
in
for
the
making a reference I get.
See, we're here. We're
and
doing
there's
it all
no room
together.
in the corner because Mandy's already sent Ron Livingston there.
He doesn't even deserve a corner.
Not even a corner, Mandy. You're heartless.
Take him.
Band of Brothers.
Take him.
Oh boy, oh boy. All right.
All right, let's move on to trailers.
Trailers.
Now,
That's my theme song. I've been working on it all week.
That is dynamite.
Trailers.
I'm not sure if
Nice.
everyone's going to be able to connect it because it's pretty obtuse, but I like it.
I wanted to make sure we got a clean cut so we can make a stinger. That's really great. Last time we did this, Mandy got in first, but this time Tommy was the early bird on this bunch. Tell us about your
Quick on
trailer.
the draw.
Tommy.
I know. It's so exciting. It's
Oh wait, before we jump into that, I wanted to say, with the Walmart thing, where is the Walmart thing going to air?
Netflix. I'm sorry. I should have said
Thank
it's
you.
going to be a limited series, not a movie, a limited series on Netflix.
And speaking of Netflix, how about your trailer?
Hey-oh. So this trailer is upsetting. Maybe I watched it like too early in the day and I hadn't like done anything else, but I am a big fan of...
What's it called, Tommy?
It's called Ratchet.
Okay.
And if you know the name actually Ratchet, really interestingly, is kind of big in pop culture right now. But what this is referring to, this is a prequel. No, not a prequel. It's a prologue or development story. What's the phrase that I'm
Origin
looking for?
story?
That's the one. It's an
Yeah.
origin story of Nurse Ratchet from the famed
One Flew Over the
meme-
Cuckoo's Nest.
Trailers from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It sounds like we follow her through the war. We find out how she ended up and why she is like she is. It's a Ryan Murphy series movie. We'll never know. It's official trailer. We'll never know.
May I ask why you're headed to Lucia?
It seems like a rather personal question.
Well, I'm sorry, ma'am. Didn't mean to make you uncomfortable.
I didn't say you made me uncomfortable. I said the question was personal.
Sorry.
You should bathe more often. Your fingernails are filthy.
But Ryan Murphy, I have such a love-hate, but mostly love relationship with. I kind of like to give all of his stuff a try. And the look is fantastic. They really stretch without actually going past the MPAA. It's an upsetting trailer to watch, which is kind of interesting. It looks like there's going to be a lot of satire. There's going to be a ton of gore and really uncomfortable hospital stuff, which is not for everybody, but it is for me. And, of course, it stars his muse,
Sarah Paulson.
Exactly.
Oh, that's Ryan Murphy's
Correct.
muse? In what way?
She's been in all of the a ton of the American Horror Stories.
Oh, cool. See, and I haven't seen any of those.
And
but
she played.
And she was Marcia Clark.
She played Marcia Clark in the People versus O.J. Simpson. She's
Nice.
been They get together along well. So yeah, I think if people want to take a look at it, I think it's worth it. Did either of you watch it? I did make a note. Trailer has graphic parts because I was afraid people would get mad at me.
I didn't find it too graphic. I did watch it. I think it's really interesting. I love the way it's shot. I'm super excited about all the hypercolor stuff that they're doing in it. And I am a fan of Sarah Paulson. She got a lot of crap after Glass for her role of playing that. There was a lot of negativity about her role there, but I loved it, and I love what she did with it. And that is kind of... that transfers into what she's doing here with this role a little bit. I think it's really interesting to do this, whether it's a series or whether it's a movie, to do an origin story in this way. And I'm super excited. I would actually watch this even with all the potentially graphic type stuff.
Because if you watch American Horror Story, Ryan Murphy has been pushing boundaries a lot over there on FX. And so the fact that he's now going over to Netflix, this could be a crazy town. But I'm glad that you thought it was interesting.
From the first frame of this trailer, it was the most Ryan Murphy-esque thing. I mean, the color came up and I was like, is this a Ryan Murphy project? It was that fast. It is so clearly his style. But it looks fascinating and interesting and...
oh, neat. Good.
Creepy and scary and... like really good actors, and
the cast
I'm very
is
curious.
Great. Oh, good. Okay.
Very curious.
Did they say when it was going to start? I didn't see that.
They didn't. I think they maybe they did. I'll do a little bit of research.
September or August. I could be wrong.
So it's relatively soon. That's cool. I'm glad you found something like that. And one of the things that I'm excited about our trailer list is that all of our trailers seem really, really different.
Right.
There is nothing similar about any of the three trailers that we have here. The second one I put in here.
Real quick, I'm sorry, just because it's coming out on September 18th, 2020. It is a limited series. Thank you.
And will be on Netflix. So that's
correct.
The movie that I put up in here was Kajillionaire.
Yeah.
After this person. And clear.
Now. There's a camera there, and there. Cash. No, any order.
This is not a cheap tie. Most people want to be cajillionaires. That's the dream. That's how they get you hooked. Hooked on sugar, hooked on caffeine. Ha ha ha, cry, cry, cry. Me, I prefer to just skim.
So do I.
So I didn't know anything about it. Tommy, it sounds like you maybe knew something about it.
No, I just really like the trailer. And I've only seen 2 movies by Miranda July, but I'm a fan.
Can you tell me what her previous stuff is?
Yeah.
Everyone but me and you. Why do people ask me things?
Because
everyone you know but me and you and me.
Works.
Is that how it goes? Miranda.
Wow. She's got a bunch here.
Me and you and everyone we know, I'm a really big fan of.
She wrote
it's very indie stuff, but she's a little bit of an auteur. She's a little bit kind of like the person that's Britt Marling. A little bit. She's got her own style. You kind of know when you start watching, kind of like you looked at this and said, is this a Ryan Murphy project? Miranda July projects that she directs sort of have a certain kind of feeling, kind of like how Wes Anderson does.
I like that. And when I saw this trailer, I was immediately moved by the amount of art that was infused to tell the story in the trailer, which got me super excited about this. I super love Evan Rachel Wood as well. And I feel like she looks like she's doing something that's very different than she's done in the past. And that's what I think is going to be really interesting. I think the trailer is interesting in the way it takes you through too, because you get this sense of that it's going to be one kind of movie and then it shifts into something else about potentially a coming of age story, right? This whole thing. Right. We talked about 2 weeks ago on this show how I watched Parasite and I wasn't super excited about it because it was fraudsters trying not to get caught. This movie, of course, is about fraudsters too, but it's for a different end. And that's why I think I'm interested about it, because the art that's here is kind of the same. It's the same effort in terms of art that you see in a movie like Parasite, but but the goal of telling the story is different than the goal of telling the Parasite story. So I'm excited to see this one. Mandy, what do you think?
Oh, I can't wait.
Nice.
I'll be first in line. The Richard Jenkins, you don't get better.
Nice.
And it looked very twisted and quirky. And Evan Rachel Wood is, I kept like going, is that her? No.
Right.
Is that her? Her vocal choice, so fascinating, reminiscent to me of Tilda Swinton in Orlando. And I just think it looks really different.
Yeah.
Everything we see these days, we're like, I've seen that before. That looks like this. And this was like, wow, what is this? So I'm excited.
I am interested. I'm keeping definitely an open mind, but I do have a little bit of like when I saw the trailer for, what's the Green Mile? Nope. The Green Book. No, just Green Book.
Green Book. Thank you.
I was like, oh no, is Viggo Mortensen going to sound like that the entire time? Spoiler alert, he does. He's a real palooka in this. Whenever she would talk, I was like, oh, I wonder if that's going to steal too much focus. But I know that you're more attuned to voice stuff and choices, Mandy. So
I just can't wait to see what's behind it.
Right.
And if there's nothing behind it, then I'm like, oh, that's an actor making a self-indulgent choice. So everybody says, wow, her voice was so different.
Right.
But if there's something behind it.
Well, and you said Tilda Swinton, it made me think of Lily Sobieski. So, I mean that's an interesting thing that I was wondering the whole time looking at her too, going like, is that Evan Rachel? Like, I didn't get it until I got to the end. So that was good. Very cool. It comes out supposedly September 18th of this year. But as everything with movies, who knows? Really?
Yes.
If
We're
it's
going to
going
be
to come
busy
out.
on September 18th, guys.
I guess that's what everybody says because everything's getting pushed back to that next movie that everything's coming out.
And there's like 3 new Star Wars movies coming out then?
Yeah.
So they say, but they don't have titles or names
Good point.
or writers or directors. Okay, third trailer in the list. Mandy, you bring us the movie about stunt women.
Love this.
It's a doc. It's called Stunt Women,
I love
The
it.
Untold Hollywood Story. It is from director April Wright. And from the moment it started, I had chills. I haven't seen this. It's these women explaining what got them into stunt work, how they accomplished their stunt work, perhaps how overlooked their work is in Hollywood. Narrated and produced by Michelle Rodriguez, and it just looks exciting and
Very
badass.
exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to be respected, and I didn't want to be respected for a girl.
If I didn't have amazing stunt women, my movies just wouldn't work.
It was Matrix 2, Doubling Trinity. When they say rolling and action, you just do superhuman things.
This is bigger than just, oh, she's the right size, the wig fits her head.
Back in the very, very beginning, women were doing these amazing stunts.
They fought so hard for us to get here that now we don't have that luxury of not being able to do something.
Debbie does most of my driving in Fast and Furious.
I thought you do action movies and you get to have all the fun, and then I realized, no, Debbie has all the fun.
Yeah,
It was
I
thrilling to find.
actually got emotional watching it, especially when they had the two sisters talking about the car crash and one of them watching the other sister and going, "That's my sister," and doing that like
So excited, not like, oh no, that's my sister. Yeah.
yeah, like so excited about the fact that they're doing it, and just it's amazing what they're doing. Just shocking stuff.
And it's available on digital platforms, is what
Yay.
it says here, September 22nd.
Cool.
So once we're done with Ratched from the 18th, we can tune into this.
Yeah.
I know it's on Amazon. I saw it like on an Amazon teaser package. So
That's a good choice. That was completely not on my list at all. Or shamefully, not a topic that I was like, how come this hasn't been made? But as soon as it started, I was like, oh, right. Of course. Yeah, because it's like, because especially the stunts within the documentary trailer get more and more, I know that stunt, I know that stunt, I know that stunt, instead of like, there's a pie in the face.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. Hollywood does such a good job of it that we only notice that the stunt people are in it when it's done poorly. And it's not done poorly too often. And so many of the scenes they show, because they introduce here in the trailer, they introduce us to some of the stunt women. I'm sure there's going to be so many more in the doc. But they introduce us to them. And because you haven't seen them before, they were standing in for people. But when but after you've met them, and then they show the scene from Kill Bill, which is the fight in the living room, and you're like, oh, wait a second.
Right.
That's not Uma Thurman. That is the stunt woman that I just saw. And I think that's so that was a really cool way to watch this and go, oh yes, these people are so important. It's really important to see them.
You accidentally, even subconsciously, just give the real stars credit, and will continue to do so now that facial replacement is becoming so much better and better and better that it really looks like Trinity on that motorcycle, which is shot because usually before we had facial change, it would have been shot from behind,
right?
And a lot of it is shot from straight on, and so it's cool.
The one that I always go back to when I think about those things is Blue Crush.
Oh boy.
And the surfing scenes in Blue Crush.
Yeah, they replace what's her name's. It does not look good at all.
No, it's terrible. It looks like some like science fiction creature coming through the waves.
Right. I forgot about that.
Blue Crush, y'all. Well, I think those are all great trailers, and again, the thing that I was most excited about was how different each of those things are. Supposedly they're all going to be available to see in September, which is really exciting too, because I hadn't heard of either of your two movies or mine for that matter. So kind of cool that we can go see that.
Hooray!
Okay, the next segment is what we save for games. And we've done some talk. Games. Right. And we've done some talk about this.
Why didn't you pause, JJ? You knew it was coming.
Maybe we should do games.
Games.
That was a very clean cut. I like it. So
I think we're spending too much money on these stings. They just sound too good.
That's right.
We need more Patreon.
So what we like to do, what Mandy and I like to do, and we're going to rope Tommy into this at this point too, is we like to recast some of our favorite entertainment pieces from the past. And last time we were on together, I made a mistake of asking Mandy to recast something that she already expertly had done in the past. So now we're going to do something that's a little bit, just a tiny bit more spontaneous, because one of my favorite movies is available on Amazon Prime and was actually out of print for a while and all this stuff, but it was one that I watched for multitudes of times back when HBO came out in the 80s, which is Clue, the movie.
And you stole that from me in the movies that happened in 24 hours. We both had Clue on our list, and you stole it from me.
Right? Connective
so this is
tissue.
an emotional topic for me.
I love
to talk about Clue when you stole it.
So I was a little nervous, Tommy, because I know Mandy and I can do this. Like, we can get into this. So how do you feel about Clue, the movie, and talking about it today?
I have not seen it in a long time.
Okay. What do you remember about it?
I'm going to go home and have sex with my wife.
That's right. That's right.
I remember it starting with a runner about dog poop on a shoe, which even as a child, I was like, hard pass. But then I remember much later because well, no, there's no reason to bring her into it. Yeah. I've worked in a production company that I worked with Colleen Camp.
Oh, nice.
And so you always think about her then and now.
Colleen Camp is one of my bonus recasts, potentially, but not one of the main ones. So we may get into that. We might not. Depends how well we do with the main group.
Sofia Vergara, moving on.
Oh, that's good.
Like that
I'm going to be so bad at this.
Why?
What? Because I said John Goodman. I don't know how to do this. I've never tried to recast, because I know, Mandy, you probably brought it up last time, like when the pandemic hit and we had more time, you started doing this as like a hobby over Facebook with friends. Yes. I've never done it, so I'm not really good at it. All right, I have one or two ideas. Let's do this.
One of us.
And you're going to like it.
One of us.
Okay. So let's just go with Sofia Vergara. I think that is creative and insightful because Yvette has the French accent and you're not sticking in that vein. You're going with, who's a current actress that has the accent and has the sex appeal. I think that's fantastic. So I'm not even going to challenge you on it. I hadn't even gotten there. And I'm happy.
You're welcome, good sirs.
You're so good. Okay, so let's start from the top, which is probably one of the most difficult characters to replace because he's so special, which is Wadsworth, played by Tim Curry. And I think it's like a seminal role for him.
Right.
So who is your Wadsworth?
Going along with, it's me? Oh my God, my big break. You mean to guess.
Well, JJ turned away, so I was calling on you.
Yeah, yes. I picked just because Butler, and I've been rewatching the series on Amazon Prime, Sherlock. I picked Benderbatch Cumberdick.
Oh.
What is it? Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yes.
He just seems like he's been born to play He's never. That's the one Britishy kind of thing he hasn't done. So I was thinking maybe, and he has the gravitas, and he's Wadsworth ends up sort of solving the crime,
Right.
or absolutely solving the crime, and so he already has chops doing that.
He can do the turn.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mandy?
I have a bold pitch.
I'm happy with my pitch too, so I want to hear yours.
Mine is Don Cheadle.
Whoa. Okay.
We know he does a British accent beautifully.
From Ocean's 11
movies.
And he is hilarious. He's fantastic.
Right.
And I think he could be physically funny, and it's unexpected, and that's my pitch.
Is he imposing enough? Because that character has a lot of power.
Okay,
and
so
Don
this is
Cheadle's
the interesting
very
thing,
short.
Tommy. When you said Benedict Cumberbatch, I was thinking he was too imposing. So I actually like Cheadle in it more because it's more of the judo of being able to do both.
Interesting.
Like starting as one thing. But I will say, so the person that I thought, and I don't know if this is right, but the person that I would think that is, again, nowhere near as creative as what you guys are saying, would be John Oliver.
Oh, that would be fun.
That's really
So
fun.
because, and I'm thinking about John Oliver from Community, right? And like going into this thing and like really
good
kind
thing.
of being submissive, but then also taking his real sort of arrogance and taking it to the next level. Where I think Don Cheadle is a fantastic and innovative pick. I think it would be a natural thing for John Oliver to fall in there. So I'm satisfied with any of our answers, really.
And I remember when I was watching Hotel Rwanda, and I was like, Don Cheadle would make a fantastic. Okay, go ahead.
Wadsworth, yeah.
Okay, so I don't know that we need to settle on one of those because I think we've chosen who we've chosen for different reasons, which I think is really cool too.
Let's let the people choose.
I think that's great.
Let the people choose. This is America.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, how about Mrs. Peacock? The bumbling, I'm a senator's wife.
Right.
See, I
actually
can do
have one
lines.
for
This
that.
will work.
Please do.
What?
I have one
okay.
for that.
Oh, you do? Well, jump in. I don't.
Just looking
I
at
don't,
the
so.
face, I was kind of, not that they look anything alike, but just being able to sort of pull it off. I don't know. I'm going back to Ryan Murphy. Apparently, all I want to talk about is Ryan Murphy. I'm going back to one of his other muses, Jessica Lange.
Oh.
She's accent crazy, and she can sort of handle bumbling while also being very scary. She can do all sorts of stuff. So I thought maybe that'd be a thing.
Not bad. What do you have, Mandy?
Not bad.
Not
Mine is
good.
totally different.
Okay.
And hear me
Is
out.
it Don Cheadle again? Jeez.
It's a one-man show.
For some reason, when she was eating the monkey brains, I was like, Deborah Messing. And Deborah Messing, I think, is very funny.
Sure.
And then they did this Will and Grace episode, this ode to I Love Lucy. Did anybody see it?
No.
I haven't.
It's really worth a watch. And they each got to play each of the characters on I Love Lucy. And Deborah Messing, with those powerhouse performers of Sean Hayes and Mullally, she stole the show. She was hilarious as like Fred, and it was fantastic. Wow. She was great. So crazy enough, you think of Eileen Brennan as like an older lady, but in this movie, she was maybe in her 50s. And I think Deborah Messing is probably in her 50s.
And one thing I would say about Jessica Lange, who I just found out is also born in Minnesota, is she's 71, which I think would make it difficult for her to pull off that role.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't want to be ageist here.
Right.
Yeah. But I like the Deborah Messing pull for this role
you.
much better in this particular selection. And I don't have an option, so I'm really happy about it. I'm not a competitive person, so you can keep score, but I'm not going to care. Okay, the next one that I have on the list is Mrs. White, played by Madeline Kahn. When you go down this list, flames burn at the sides of my face.
On the sides of my face?
Yes, okay, that's her. And she does the singing part when they're trying to she sings for He's a Jolly Good Fellow as, the killer's leaving in one of the endings. So the problem with so many of these actors is that they are so them.
Right.
That I think that to really do this, I think Mandy's approach is really good here, because to really do this, you kind of have to step out of who they are when they embodied the character and bring something new. Yeah. So with Mrs. White, we think is she's inferred to be this sort of Black Widow type character. Who did you imagine could do the role that Madeline Kahn made famous in Clue?
If it's a Black Widow, because I didn't remember which character that was, but if it's a Black Widow, I would maybe posit Aubrey Plaza.
Because
Because she does. Oh, okay. Mandy's face does not care for it.
Yeah, Aubrey Plaza is very flat, very mellow.
Right.
And Madeline Kahn is very up, and her voice is very sing-songy, and she's a very animated character.
Yes.
And Aubrey Plaza, to me, is like always stone.
Oh, Madeline Kahn from Blazing Saddles.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You're always coming and going and going and coming. Yeah, Aubrey Plaza, that was a terrible guess.
So what about Maya Rudolph, who is a singer?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very funny.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very good.
I like
Justin's looking off to the heavens again.
See, it happens. I have the answers written on my ceiling. It works.
I know.
Well, you're
Let's
looking
do that.
you're looking at all your Clue posters that wallpaper you're seeing.
Exactly. I'm like, does she look like that? No. Okay. So yeah.
That's
so
really
that's
good.
great. Let's do Maya Rudolph there. So how about then skipping to a man here for a moment? Let's do Professor Plum. This is Christopher Lloyd. And he plays kind of a philanderer, bumbling kind of person who is a little bit more, thinks more of himself than he demonstrates when on screen, is what I would describe as Professor Plum. Correct me if I'm using
Like has a
poor
big ego
descriptors.
kind of a thing?
Has an ego, but also then totally messes everything up.
Will Arnett.
Oh, I like that. I think
Done.
that's great.
Really?
Yes, you nailed
I was
it.
going to say Dax Shepard.
No,
but
no,
Will
well-
That would
Arnett.
also be good.
Okay, don't yell at me, JJ.
I may have-
He is
I-
a person who can speak English and play the role.
I may have looked to the ceiling with your Dax Shepard, but Will Arnett's pretty great for that.
He's great.
Okay,
Done.
cool, awesome. That's really
He's
wonderful.
going to be so psyched, you guys.
Will
Will
is?
Arnett is going to be so happy
That
He's such a
playing the role.
super fan
that
of
we just
TNR.
cast him
Yeah.
so fast.
Okay, next one on the list is Mr. Green. And this is the guy who's, I'm going to go home and make love to my wife. He's the
Michael McKean.
Right, Michael McKean. He's the CIA agent in disguise or undercover, and plays an idiot basically throughout the movie until he becomes the savior at the end. And
pretends to be homosexual the whole time, right?
Right.
Correct.
And that's one of the quote
That's why
unquote
he
funny
says,
reveals.
I'm going to go
It's not-
home and make
right.
love to my wife. Right, Mandy. It sounds like you have something.
This is Joel
Yep.
McHale.
Tommy and I have had debates about Joel McHale because my perception of Joel McHale is different than other people's perception of Joel McHale. I think for the masquerade, the homosexual masquerade that he does in there, I think Joel McHale would be perfect for that. The person that I was thinking for it was a little bit. My thing about Joel McHale is I think he has too much of a big presence, and I would actually pull someone like Matt Damon.
Matt Damon?
He plays against type in a lot of stuff. That's a good
Yeah.
point. I just rewatched Deadpool 2, and he plays like a big schlub for like 3 seconds in that movie. Yeah, that would be my only worry about Joel McHale, which I'm a big fan of, is it's hard for me to believe him as bumbling. Because he's just so... Is
cool
Professor
guy.
Green bumbling? You said he was kind of an idiot.
Mr. Green, he plays inept. He plays incapable throughout the film on purpose.
Yeah, that would work, though. Because that's that same
He does
kind
that
of
on
a little
Community,
bit,
too.
that Will Arnett confidence first, but that's covering up. So I like both of them. So I say
Do you
we
have
give it to
anybody?
Don Cheadle. What? No, I did not have anyone for this one. This one was too hard.
Okay, let's move on to the next one then. The next one I have listed is Colonel Mustard. Colonel Mustard is Martin Mull, and he's, of course, from the military complex and kind of gruff throughout the film. I guess there's sexual tension with all the characters in it, so maybe I don't need to make issue of any one particular relationship that's hinted at throughout the film. But this is kind of the heavy, gruff, coming from the military kind of idea in Colonel Mustard. Do you have any ideas for him?
Dwayne Johnson.
Whoa.
Really?
I know, it's different.
Oh, you're Don Cheadle. Okay. Wait. Oh, because of the military, really leaning into the military
And he's always posturing and...
So you say Dwayne Johnson, I immediately think John Cena.
Oh, and
to like
John Cena
compare
really
to
wants
that.
to get into...
But I don't. I mean, I like The Rock better than I like John Cena. However, but the military thing, yeah, those are good. What made you think Dwayne Johnson right away? What was the thing that brought that in for you?
You said something... Well, first of all, his purported sexual energy or something. You said something about that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I pictured Dwayne Johnson in Jumanji.
I love it.
And he's funny.
Yeah.
And
Very
like
much
his
so.
I'm Bravestone. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I love
This has
Jumanji.
been
I think
Mandy
it's a
Does
great
Jumanji.
Yes. And scene. No, I loved both Jumanji movies, and I actually like Dwayne Johnson quite a bit. I think he's solid in everything that he's done that I've seen. So I think
And I'm always trying
interesting.
to diversify. I'm always trying to not just cast like, oh, this guy looks like the guy who did it before in terms of type and skin color and everything.
That's really smart. That's really smart. And I think that the fact that you're expanding the thought process about it, I think, is much better than I'm probably getting tripped up by some pretty rudimentary things of like, but he doesn't look like him.
Right.
Tommy, you didn't have any Colonel Mustard action?
I think I was doing the exact opposite.
I think
of what
Colonel Mustard Action has got to be the name of my.
Have you guys seen the next season of Colonel Mustard Action? It's also by Ryan Murphy, and it's weird. No, I was just because I think they kind of look alike. The only thing that popped in my head was who's the lead on Reno 911?
Thomas Lennon.
Thomas Lennon. But I think it's maybe just because they both have mustaches. It's not that great.
Yeah,
I feel like he'd be a better Wadsworth.
I see that too. Yes.
Oh, that's
character-wise,
interesting.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Sure.
The last one I have from the main cast is Miss Scarlet, Leslie Ann Warren. I love that role. I think that awakened in me a lot of different things as a prepubescent child.
My oh my!
But
Let's talk about them in alphabetical order.
The things.
Yeah, all the things
have
awakened in
awakened?
JJ.
Yes. Start with
All
B.
right.
All right.
Yeah, camouflaged sheets. No, okay. Anyway, so who could potentially play that role today?
Is that weird that I can't think
Scarlet.
of anybody? Do you have somebody, JJ?
I don't. It has to be. Let's see. If it's going to be Miss Scarlet, and she's got to be related to Sofia Vergara in some way, right? That's
Renee
the
Russo?
secret.
Oh, it is? Oh, I don't remember that. Man,
Not
Yeah,
related. They're not.
No,
they're not
but
related.
so the interesting thing about Clue the movie is that every person of the main cast has some hidden connection to any of the satellite characters, and hers is Yvette because she employed her once at one point as an escort. Is that what I gathered from the film? Okay, great. So who could be this person? How about somebody like I'm trying to do what you do, Mandy, and say somebody like Zoe Saldana.
Is she funny?
She's funny as a straight man, right? I mean, in Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, you don't really like superhero movies.
Yeah.
She as Gamora, she plays the straight man role multiple times in related to all these other crazy people, and I think that's kind of what Miss Scarlet does too, right? But I've never seen Zoe Saldana necessarily play a seductress, though. So I don't know.
Zoe
exactly
Saldana is a concept to me. I don't know that I've ever seen her act in anything.
Are you seriously? You don't?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I don't think I have.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't think so.
She's like one of my favorites. I like her quite a bit. Let's see. I'm not sure who else I would pick for that. Tommy, do you have any ideas on who might be a
Scarlet?
DC madam?
A sex pot in her 40s or 50s, right?
Yes,
sex pot in her 40s or 50s? Me? No. Let's see. Sex pot.
Kim Cattrall.
That's great. That's perfect.
That's fun.
Yes. And she is funny.
Yeah.
No question. Yeah. I love that idea.
I love it. That's good.
Yeah. And then, so we already did Yvette, which is great. I mean, knocked her out of the park right at the beginning. The only other one that I had as kind of like a potential bonus was the Mr. Body character, the guy who shows up and and he's just like just like bull in a china shop. Like,
is Conrad Baines available? No.
Who's that?
Who's Conrad?
Mr. Drummond. Different strokes. I'm just going a different way.
Who's the guy that used to
I'm
go?
glad I don't know who you're talking about.
Oh, Punky. Who was that? Oh, Punky on Punky Brewster. Who was that?
Punky's dad.
Okay, I want Punky's dad. Mr. Belvedere? No. Oh, you know who might be funny in a role like that that's small, but the whole thing's kind of about him and he can weird and make it his own, would be Bill Murray.
That'd be interesting. Bill Murray would do a great job with that role.
Yeah, because Bill Murray seems to favor like these little roles in littler movies right now. That might be fun because he could really put his own stamp on it and everyone would be like, okay. And
is Wes Anderson directing the remake? Because that's the only way we're going to get Bill Murray.
Wouldn't that be amazing, though? A Wes Anderson version of Clue? No, I was
Ryan
going maybe a little
Reynolds,
bit younger with someone who I think does the same kind of things or would be willing to do the same kind of things, and I was going to say maybe Jake Gyllenhaal, because Jake Gyllenhaal can play that kind of like Nightcrawler, like he's kind of a bad guy, not necessarily a good guy kind of thing here. I don't know.
Well, because Ryan Reynolds is behind the remake. Who, if you had to cast
of Clue,
what?
Yeah, I thought that's the reason that we were doing this.
Ryan Reynolds or Ryan Murphy?
Reynolds. No, I'm not making a joke. Ryan Reynolds, the actor, is behind. He's a producer, executive producer on a future coming up remake of Clue.
Had no idea.
But everything has been stopped because of the pandemic. But I don't think I don't think they've cast it yet. But I thought that was kind of one of the reasons we were doing this. If he wanted to be in it, he would be Mr. Body.
Oh, he'd be great, Mr.
Only
Bond.
because he'd want to get in and out because he's sort of like the, the executive producer of it.
Yeah.
I really hope what I just said is true.
Yeah, me too. Maybe you should do some quick research on the internet and find out if that is true. All right.
No, it's Ryan Reynolds. No, it is.
Okay, great.
Clue, and it's going to be directed by the director of The Muppets. The latest The Muppets. Does this sound like a fever dream I've had?
Yes. I actually thought, that's why I said, because we've had so many jokes, we've had so many callbacks to Ryan Murphy, I thought you had just messed up Reynolds.
I just
Murphy
messed up
there.
my thing.
But yeah.
No, Ryan's Maximum Effort is producing it.
Love it. I love it. Now, I will say that that Clue is a little bit precious from my childhood, and I'd be really concerned that they would try to change something that I wouldn't be happy with.
Sure.
But I like a lot of the things Ryan Reynolds does. I did
Write
not
a strongly worded letter in advance of this thing.
You think that'll help?
Get out in front of it. Yeah.
Well, and he'll listen to me, right?
Just do an open letter on this episode. Go ahead. I'll start with you. Hey, Mr. Reynolds, it's me. JJ. Go ahead. You take it back.
Yeah, I loved you in Pikachu, Pokemon Detective. Okay. Yeah, spoiler alert. Let's move on to our list picks now. Yes. The list was a little bit funky this week.
Tough.
Because our poll got shut down a bit early. So there weren't a ton of votes in either ways. It was just a mistake, just honest mistake. It's, not a big deal. But the one that we came up with, and the reason why the one that we came up with that won the poll was Christmas Crime. And the reason why we're doing it is because this week on the main show, they're talking about Friday After Next, which I hadn't seen. I've seen Friday. I had not seen Next Friday or Friday After Next. I'm surprised that Friday After Next is a movie about Christmas crime, but it makes for an interesting list topic for us here. And so the thing that I found interesting about this list is that there are so many options that are really sort of straightforward options that most people kind of know because everybody sees them, right?
I found it tough.
Oh, you did?
Because I'm I'm going to come up with the same three as these guys, and then...
So I made a list of like 15.
Perfect.
What?
Yeah. So I made a huge list because I feel like everything's going to get stolen. But Tommy, since you have some anxiety about this, it's nice because you get to go first. So
what?
What's your first Christmas crime movie?
Then if I'm going first, then I'm going to steal one of the most obvious ones, right? Is that the way to do it?
Go for it.
Yep.
I want to cross it off my list.
Is it a Christmas movie? Is it an action movie? Is it a Christmas action movie? Die Hard.
Very good.
Starring Bruce Willis. Yes.
I think other than Love Actually, it's probably my favorite Christmas movie of all time.
And has more crime.
Yes, a little.
More crime, but less porn.
Right. So that was this was one of those that Mandy was talking about. Obviously, I think I just wrote in Die Hard. It's one of my favorite movies. Ooh, one of my favorite movies of all time. That's not accurate, but it's always been one of my favorite movies, which is great.
One of my favorite things about living in LA when I lived there with you guys was going to Century City and seeing the big Fox Tower and going, "That's Nakatomi Plaza!" all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
My dad had worked for a supercomputer company back when Die Hard was made, and they actually engineered the big explosion at the top of Nakatomi Plaza. And I just always feel like that's like a cool thing to hold on to. So.
I remember being so excited growing up in Boulder, Colorado, that the second one, Die Hard 2, Electric Boogaloo, took place at Stapleton Airport. And that was such a cool thing because I was a child and didn't have much else to live for. All right, who's next?
I'm next. And the one that I'm going to pick, I don't think is completely obvious, but it's totally exactly what it is. And it's a Ben Affleck movie from the year 2000, Reindeer Games, where they all get together and they rob a casino.
I've never seen that movie. I just assumed
I thought I watched it with you. I remember watching it in our friend Nikki and Chris's apartment back in Beverly Glen, way back when. Because that's the year 2000. We were all there. It's not a great movie, but it's totally like the whole it's like a Smokin' Aces, right? It's like a whole just kind of fun
scratches
crime.
A lot of itches. Sure.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun little movie, and that's why it's definitely on the nose for this topic, but it's not one that everyone would think of right away. So, Mandy,
not at all. Now wait, how do steals work? Because I had Die Hard on my list.
Okay, so you can't use it.
You just can't use it.
Tommy stole it from me, or
correct?
No?
Yes, he did.
The only people who care about steals are Pete and Andy. just you always come up with more than 3 in case someone.
But they're always
takes
watching, like Disney, right?
Exactly.
Oh my God!
Pete and Andy?
I've never seen them together.
So, okay. Well, in that case, I'm shocked
city.
I get to say this. Home Alone.
See.
The ultimate Christmas crime movie. I thought for sure I wouldn't get to say it.
No, and that's so when the topic came up, I was like, wait, is the topic actually Home Alone? Like, I mean, it is such a Christmas crime movie. Like, that's literally what the synopsis is there's a crime at Christmas.
They're flying somewhere. I don't remember the last time I've seen that movie. His whole family is flying somewhere on Christmas?
Yes, they go to Paris for Christmas.
Who goes to Paris for Christmas with a huge family?
That's the point. That's why they get
weird.
That's why the house gets ransacked.
I'll tell you who goes to Paris on Christmas. White people.
Yes. White people.
A whole big family full of white people.
Yes.
Oh, wow. I guess I never put that together. Okay.
And they leave behind poor Kevin.
Yeah.
Okay, Tommy, what's your number 2?
Ooh, what's my number 2? Let's go a little bit deeper in the pile. I'm going to say one of my other favorite movies of all time. Oh, here, we'll make it a game. a game within a game. It stars, tell me when you have it, Val Kilmer.
Kiss, Kiss, Bang, Bang.
Kiss, Kiss, Bang. Oh, jeez Louise. Someone hates Batman's Returns. You're exactly right. It is. Oh, no, he wasn't in Batman Returns. Yes, Kiss, Kiss, Bang, Bang, starring Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer. I think
that movie.
It's very easy to forget that movie takes place in Christmas because it's all in California.
Right.
But Shane Black puts a ton of his movies in Christmas.
Yeah, it's his
and in
thing.
the cold open is Robert Downey Jr., if you remember, breaking into a toy store trying to steal a certain toy. And that's why he runs. That's why he runs into the audition, gets cast, goes to L.A., and that's where the whole thing starts. So, good pick.
I forget everything about that movie, but I remember loving it.
I forget everything. That's how I feel. I forget
smart.
everything about it, too, but I know I love it.
Well, it's
like,
super
I can't rank
dense.
it.
Like the mystery's really dense as like an old Raymond Chandler kind of a thing. The dialogue is completely whip smart. I think one of the reasons that it's easy to forget is it's almost hard to hold on to because there's so much to enjoy.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, that must be it.
My second one, I'm trying to figure out if I should go with ones that you guys aren't going to go with or ones that I think people are going to go with. Because I have some kind of alternative ones on here that I could stretch, but I think that maybe for the sake of that we're only going to have 9 of these, I'll do ones that are very straightforward. So I will do How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Oh, right. That's crime. That never even occurred to me.
Well played, JJ. You win.
The word
Why?
stole is in the title,
title.
and that would never have occurred to me.
Really?
That's amazing. I didn't think of it.
It could have been Grinch Crime Christmas, and I never would have figured it out. That's amazing.
That is very funny. Okay, Mandy, what's your number 2?
Well, I'm shocked I get to say it. The Ref.
Right.
I don't know. The Ref,
It's actually like perhaps a top 10 of all time movie.
You love that movie.
I love that movie.
And Tommy, you like it too. I forget about that movie, but it is a great movie to be in there.
Mandy forgets, I think, but we were working on a different project, and I asked her, what's that Dennis Leary movie called? And she said The Ref, and I was like, that's right. I promise I won't use it. This isn't a joke. The reason I didn't use The Ref is because I took it off my own plate because Mandy knew it before I did. So yeah,
Nice.
Good work.
She gets it. Cool. Tommy, last pick.
Ooh, last
Christmas
pick. This is a
crime.
big one. It's between 2. Mandy, pick 1 or 2.
2.
JJ, pick 1 or 2. Please don't
3.
pick 1.
Yeah, 2.
It's a good point. I'm going to say Gremlins.
Good pick. That's on my list too.
What crime is there in Gremlins? Oh,
Murder. People are dying all over the place. Murder is a crime, even if it's by little green things.
They also destroy a department store. That's what I always think of. Is that
That's
they
true.
destroy the department store. And I guess
they ruin a microwave. Ugh, am I right?
And maybe you would say that animals committing crime is not the same as people committing crime. Maybe they're not governed by laws, but I don't think.
I didn't think about that. That's true.
On this darn show.
All right, do you want me to switch it to?
No,
then
you can't. We have lists to get here.
My half one is Catch Me If You Can.
Catch Me. Is that
I love that movie.
What's the
because
Christmas
the saddest part? Well, the whole movie is filled with crime because he's a con person running away from.
I know
Tom
the crime
Hanks,
part. I asked
but
the
the
Christmas
saddest part in the movie is Frank Abagnale calls Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is alone in an office, and he calls him on Christmas alone, kind
Carl
of bragging.
Hanratty? I just want to say that.
Is that
Carl
it?
Hanratty?
I love it. And
Yeah.
they don't have anyone else to talk to, even though they're on the run and the chase of their lives together. And it kind of shows the strength of their connection and how empty they are without each other and without their things. So that's I wanted to say that. Whoever said Gremlins is dumb.
Well, that's like saying, you could do Forrest Gump because, they pay the prostitutes for Lieutenant Dan in it. But, that's...
All right, I want to change mine to Forrest Gump because of the Lieutenant Dan gets magic legs with a prostitute. Good. All right, go.
I don't know that actually happens. I just...
Okay.
It's New Year's Eve.
Okay, it is.
It's you,
Good
JJ,
point.
sorry.
Good point. Holiday season. It's all... You're totally right. Okay, so wait. So this is my last one. I'm going to just take an easy one.
Oh.
Because I have these stretches, but let's just take an easy one so that there's no question. And I'll just say Bad Santa.
Okay, that was my alt.
Oh, okay, great. Okay,
I'm
cool.
glad
So
you
Bad
said
Santa.
Is he breaking into store? I don't think I
he's
actually ever
stealing
saw
things.
that movie.
He's a thief.
I've never seen it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, great. So Mandy, what's your last one? I just stole your alt.
Okay,
What's your main?
this is a stretch, but hear me out.
I love it.
Would you agree that, maybe not illegal, but maybe perhaps more immoral, lying and deceiving people for personal gain
Depends what the gain is, but yes, go ahead.
while you were sleeping?
I think that's so if we were objective about that movie, and I'm
A
so
crime
glad
of
you
the
brought
heart
Sandra
is
Bullock
what you're
here.
saying. A crime
no,
of
it's
the
actually
heart.
fraud.
It's fraud. She gets free
It's straight
furniture.
up fraud. Like
Oh.
if we were objective about romantic comedy, there is a lot of crime that happens in the name of cute endings, and
There you go.
that particular Catfish Sandra Bullock movie could be looked at in a very negative way if you were objective about it. So I agree with you. However, it's a wonderful and adorable movie that, of course, doesn't resolve with any sort of true crime.
But I
Love that movie,
Hey, what
but
is
there is
crime,
crime
JJ?
involved.
And I love that Mandy always throws in a third act twist. So I love it.
I love it too. And I'm glad that we finally got a Sandra Bullock movie in for what we were doing, because Mandy's the
hallelujah.
person.
That's in Mandy's
awesome.
contract.
Exactly, right?
Tommy, you got a contract?
Yeah, you didn't check the congeniality clause?
Very funny. Okay, so we have to pick list topics for next week. And they're
right.
doing Le Grand Illusion, a 1938 movie by Jean Renoir.
Oh!
During World War I, 2 French soldiers are captured and imprisoned in a German POW camp. Several escape attempts follow until they are eventually sent to a seemingly inescapable fortress.
So escape movies, right?
I love
Doesn't
it.
that have to?
World War I would be a good topic. Just kidding. Yes, escape movies is dynamite. Also, what was their connection with each other?
They're two French soldiers.
They're both soldiers.
They're both
'cause I wanted
French
to say
soldiers.
Unlikely pair, but that's not an unlikely pair. Very likely pairs. That's a terrible topic. Simpatico people. No. Escape movies, prison. I guess prison and escape. Maybe those are the two.
I put Prison Break. That's what I put in the
Okay,
list here.
you did.
that-
Okay, so
that one works. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, do you want more detail of the storyline?
Sure.
During the First World War, 2 French officers are captured. Captain de Baudelaire is an aristocrat, while Lieutenant Marischal was a mechanic in civilian
That's it.
life.
Unlikely pair. I'm not joking. An
I agree with
aristocrat and then they have to team up together. I did it. You tell how excited I got.
Unlikely.
It
How about couples? Oh, it's already been chosen. That's already been a list topic historically.
Oh, darn you, Coda.
How about
Not
we
IO.
say class-based connections? No.
Collaboration. Class-based collab?
Collab?
CBC? Mandy's making a real happy face. She loves it.
Yeah.
So
you don't have time to say the whole word collaboration, Tommy. You got somewhere to be.
No, I have Netflix is recording. I just said the one thing Netflix does not do.
I love it.
Netflix is busy toasting. So we need one.
That?
We need
differing
one more
classes. Like, yeah, we need one more. But how do we say that? Class, because class
opposite,
is
differing class collaboration or opposite
differing,
class.
I like differing class connection. That's fine.
Okay,
and one more.
Oh boy.
I'll keep going. We'll keep speaking with my French accent that makes no sense. They meet other prisoners from various backgrounds. As Rosenthal, son of wealthy Jewish bankers, they are separated from Rosenthal before managing to escape. A few months later, they meet again in a fortress commanded by the aristocrat Van Raufenstein. That was not French. De Baudelaire strikes up a friendship with him, but Marischal and Rosenthal still want to escape. That's interesting. I actually think this is a really interesting story.
German jerks?
Well, it could be something about Europe, right? Well, so World War, something about turncoats, something about, they meet again in a fortress.
Because they made friends with one of their jailers?
Of course.
I kind of like turncoats or...
Yeah, I like it. Protagonist turncoats?
Woohoo!
Sure.
Yeah, that's fun.
And it's two big words.
Yeah, I like putting big words together.
Yeah, you do.
My middle name is Prattle. Okay, we. So that's our deal for today, for Saturday. I hope you guys are doing well. I really enjoyed talking with you about this stuff. Do you guys have any other entertainment, love, or news to spread along to the world?
Mandy?
I'm good.
Oh.
Well, we talked about Le Grand Illusion coming out.
Right.
We are planning to have a film board episode coming up here in the month of August, even though it's so confusing to figure out what movies are new, what movies are streaming, what movies are old, what happened at a festival. Next week on Netflix, there's a new movie coming out called Project Power, which is with Jamie Foxx and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, which are two big names for a movie that's premiering on Netflix. And it's about an idea that there is a pill that they can give people. And the pill gives you superpowers for like an hour or a short amount of time.
Oh, we have that pill. It's called cocaine.
Is that
not
really?
a pill?
Is that what happens to you when that happens?
Oh no! What have I been taking?
So it looks interesting, and again, the film board is working to stretch a little bit with trying to figure out how to get new movies. But this is definitely a new movie, and it didn't have a theatrical release, so we're going to do it next week, and so you can look for that in a couple weeks coming up in your stream. That's something to talk about coming up here, and during that time, we'll figure out which one of our amazing September movies that we talked about in this show could be a September release for the
New
film
Mutants.
well.
Oh, you mean the ones that we just talked about? This one, right?
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. Do you have word that New Mutants is actually going to come out?
I don't believe they've filmed 1 second of that movie. I think this is the longest, dumbest prank ever put on by movies.
I want to see it so badly, and I just can't wait till it happens because I'm going to watch it. So, if you want to vote in next week's list challenge, the things that we just decided about Le Grand Illusion, it's simple. Just go head over to the Show Talk channel in the Next Reel Discord community, and you can lend your vote to the chaos that is list picking and movie sabotage each week. How do you get access to the Show Talk channel, you ask? Well, all you have to do is head over to the patreon.com/thenextreel and become a supporter of the Next Reel family of podcasts. This is one of the levels. For $5 a month, you can become what we call a concessionaire supporter. And you get access to show live streams as we record, which we actually do on YouTube, so you can see our ugly mugs as well. And early access to all of our shows in your very own personal podcast feed as well. Also, we have access to our super secret member channels in the Next Reel Discord, which people wouldn't know about unless they were a patron in the first place. And don't forget merch. We have merch too. Visit thenextreel.com/merch to check out our TeePublic store. I'm actually wearing my Next Reel TeePublic shirt right now.
And can I say it looks dynamite?
Thank you.
I assume you cut it right below the chest, so it's a midriff reveal.
Of course. I'm just going to stay there frame up my camera.
It's
so
weird
that
the midriff, you left the bottom and got rid of the whole top. That's just not how it's usually.
We are also selling masks there, and we have ones because of our Marvel Movie Minute. We have non-medical grade face masks available there that show Kyle and Rob from the Marvel Movie Minute show on them, and they are super fun. With every purchase of your next real face mask, TeePublic will donate one medical grade face mask to a frontline healthcare worker through Direct Relief, that program. Thanks for supporting us, and mighty thanks for supporting our doctors and nurses. And everybody out there, Mandy, Tommy, have a great Saturday.
Thank you,
See
friend.
you guys again soon.
Yay, let's do it again soon.
Goodbye forever.
Trailers.
Ending. Yeah, just scream ending. That's how we know to stop recording.